I'll admit that space strategy games are my favorite kinds of games, but I still like playing simulation games, and the Civilization series is at the top of that list. So I thought it'd be cool to take a look at Civilization 5 and Civilization 6 and see how they compare, where they're alike and where they're not alike. So with that being said, get started. Something I always like to compare when I'm comparing games is the game menus. So I'll go to the single player menu for Civilization 5. And here I can play now, which starts the game automatically. I can set up a game, I can load a game. It's got scenarios and it's got a tutorial. When I click on the tutorial, there's 5 things to choose from. So I can click on one like Combat and Conquest, started. Then after a brief intro, it takes me into a game that's in progress.
May the blessings of the gods be upon you all.
And from here, it walks me through Combat and Conquering. The game options for Civ 6 are pretty much the same as Civ 5 with a little bit of difference. Under the single player option, you can resume a game, load a game, play now, which drops right into a game without any setup. You can play a scenario or you can create a game from scratch. Also, you can do a tutorial, which is here on the main options, the main screen. So if I click tutorial, I get a brief intro. Then I get my choice to play one of two civilizations. I'll play as Gilgamesh. And then after another brief intro, I'll drop me into a game at the very start.
Of the Stone Age, to man taking his first
Click begin game.
Welcome, Gilgamesh.
And this one,
Too long we have
and in Civilization 6, it starts you at the very beginning and walk you through most of the turns, and you can actually play the game all the way through if you want to. To be honest, I like the tutorial in Civ 5 better. I just like that kind of tutorial where you can pick out the lessons you want to learn, whereas this one's kind of, you just go through and if there's something in particular you want to focus on, you can't do it. The next thing I usually like to do when looking at games is the single player option, how easy it is to set up a game, what the options are. And I would expect in Civ 5 and Civ 6 that would be pretty similar. So I'm going to take a look at Civ 5 first. So click on single player and set up a game. Here I've got the option to choose my leader, and there's a ton of them to choose from. I've got all the DLC for this game, so choose Catherine from Russia. Here it tells me what the special unit is, special building. I believe this is the religion, although there's no tooltip telling me for sure. I can select a map type, continents, Panageo, whatever that is, Earth, fractal. So there's a lot of good options here. Map size, anywhere from dual, which is for 2 players, all the way up to huge, which is for 12 players, with 24 city states. I'll keep it small. Difficulty level, anywhere from the Cellar, which is for beginners, up to Immortal, which I would think is like Deity in Civ 6. Leave that at the Chieftain. And the game pace, I'm not sure exactly what this does, but you can go from quick to standard, epic to marathon. Anyway, when I'm happy with my settings, I will start the game. Get a little intro to my empire, and I can begin my journey. And I'm dropped into the game with a Cellar. Next, I'm going to set up a single player game in Civ 6 and see how that goes and what the similarities are and differences. So I click on single player game, create game, and I've got a rule set I can choose if I own the DLCs. So I'll click on that. And in Civ 6, I've got 3 out of 4 of the DLCs. I don't have the Leader Pass pack yet. I've read a lot of negative reviews on that and how it can actually break the base game. So I'm not sure if I believe all that or not, but I'm going to probably download that eventually, and I may make a video on that. But I've got 3 out of 4 of these. So not all the leaders will appear here, but most of them should. So I can choose leaders here just like Civ 5, and there's a ton of them to choose from anyway. Let's see, I'll take Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Rider. Game difficulty settings, anywhere from Cellar to Deity. I'll leave this on Chieftain. Game speed, just like Civ 5, you can do quick, standard, epic, marathon. Online, that's for multiplayer. I don't play multiplayer, so I don't really speak to that. Map size, again, you can choose it from anywhere from a dual for between 2 player to huge. And it's got game modes that you can add to put a little flavor in the game, like zombies and stuff. One thing to mention, some of these map types, like if I choose true start location Earth huge, if I select that, then I can't change the map size here. So that's something to keep in mind in case you get to the point where you can't change it. I'm going to go back to continents and islands if I can find it. There it is. When I'm done, I can start a game. And I get a brief intro. Or I get a brief loading page. Then I get an intro into my civilization. This takes a little longer to load up than in Civ 5. As it loads, it gives you a breakdown of what your unique unit is, unique land unit, unique building, some background information. Once it's loaded, I click Begin Game, and like Civ 5, I'm dropped into the game with a settler, and some of the civilizations give you an extra starting unit, and this one does. I'm back in Civ 5 where I first started the game. Just take a look at some of the basics first. Menu options are up in the upper right hand corner. Got Diplomacy, which is me and there's nobody else I've met yet, so I'm just starting the game. But there's a World Congress that's available once I've met everybody, so I'm a long ways from getting that done yet. Diplomacy overview, once again, just me, so there's nothing to really show here at the game start. I close that. There's also a culture overview that gives me various things for each city, like culture produced by the city, national epic, royal libraries, etc. Close that out. I've also got my social policies. These are locked right now. I can't adopt them. Also ideologies like rationalism, exploration, commerce. So good options here. Close those. Additional information, so I can get information like espionage overview. I get my little advisor here pops up. Plus I get an espionage overview of what it's all about. Over here I've got things to do with the city. I can found the city, or things to do with my settler, can found the city, things like that. Mini map over in the lower right hand corner. Here I can toggle map views on and off. I like yield icons, so I'll leave that on. Also toggles between the strategic view and normal game view. And if I want, I can click here to found a city, and my first city is founded. And now that my city's founded, I've got the city's name is Moscow, so it's producing one culture, and the rest of these are blank for now. Now I'm back at Civ 6 with Teddy Roosevelt. Take a look at some of the options before we get started with the game. So in the upper right hand corner there's also some menu options. I can get a list of reports like city status, yields, pretty nice. I can get a look at my era progress, which is something new in Civ 6, what my current score is, what I need, what'll happen if I've got 0 to 10, then it go to the Dark Ages. I get a Dark Age, so more about that later. World rankings, this tells me where I'm at for each type of victory. I don't know if Civ 5 has that or not. I'll have to take a look at that when I get back into Civ 5. Can't remember. Also, clicking on the portrait brings up details, my leader in the country. At this screen I can see what my unique units are, and unique buildings. Close that out. Over here there's some menu options: history timeline, governors, the world climate, great people, civics tree, tech tree. So I can click this to open up my tech tree. Nice, real nicely laid out. Same with civics. Look at the civics tree. This shows me what my current progress is in each one of them. Minimap lower in the left hand corner. This has got lenses, so if I want to see what's a good area to settle, I can click on the settler lens, and the greener it is, the better it is. Over here is my turn button. New content discovered gives me some alerts. And I will now found a city. So when I select my unit, the unit details pop up over here. So I click this to found a city. I'll say yes for the sake of playing the game. And that is up to point founding a city in Civ 6. I'm in a more advanced game of Civ 5. I'm looking for the victory conditions. So it's not entirely obvious, but if you click on the additional information, it gives you a drop-down menu, and you can see your victory progress here. In Civ 5, you've got 4 types plus the score victory. So you've got a domination victory. It shows you who's in what place. I'm Attila, so it looks like I'm in first place right now. Science victories, diplomatic victories, and cultural victories. And as the game progresses, these will light up with the civilizations you met and give you your status, where you're at in each one. Also gives you your score. I'm also now in a more advanced game in Civ 6, and my civilization is Qin Shi Huang. So victory conditions are right here under world rankings. So I click that to bring it up, and I've got a science victory, culture victory, domination victory, religious victory, which is something new in Civ 6, and a diplomatic victory. I've also got a score victory. So clicking on each one of these to give me the rankings, where I'm at, and who's ahead of me and who's behind me. And as you can see in this game, I haven't met a whole lot of people. I haven't met anybody here either. But let's give you a breakdown of where you're at. Go to overall, and it gives you a summary. So that's the victory conditions in Civ 6. So I'm back in Civ 5 again. I'm going to take a look at some of the basic resources across the top of the screen here. So this one gives me science. If I click on it, it brings up the research tree. There's a legend here. Tell me what's with color coding, not available, available, what I'm researching, what's been researched. So as you can see, all these have been researched. As I drag across, these are available. And this is what I'm currently researching, and these are not available right now. Close that. What my gold income is, I've got 3 out of 5 trade routes in use. Overall happiness, which is 28, gives you a tooltip that has a breakdown of what everything is. This is the progress I've made towards my next golden age. This is culture. Clicking on that will show me what social policies I can unlock. Ideological tenets, social policies. Right now I can't unlock any of these. I can't unlock any ideologies. This is how many great works or slots are filled, how many are available. This is faith, how much faith I'm accumulating. And basic resources like iron and horses. And I'll also have more resources added to this as I advance in technology or send more scouts out to scout out the surrounding area. Back in Civ 6, we'll take a look at the basic resources at the top of the screen also. And up here you've got the tech tree, view or manage your research. Clicking on that will bring up the tech tree. And it's also got a legend telling you what's available, unavailable, while you're researching and what's completed. And you can drag this through and see what's done and what's available and what's coming up in the future. Close that. I've also got culture per turn. Clicking on that does not bring up the culture tree. Faith per turn. Gold income. Tourism, which is something new. Diplomatic favors. Trade routes that are active, how many I have and how many are active. And how many envoys I have. So to look at my civics tree, I can click on this icon. That brings it up. Same principle as technology. It shows me what's available and what's not available. I don't have a nice legend there, but I can scroll through here and see what's done, what's coming up, what's unavailable. Close that out. This gives me an idea of what I'm researching right now in each area. So far I've focused mainly on the similarities between the two games, but I try to take a look at some of the differences. So one difference I know of in Civ 5 is the cities and the population growth. So in Civ 5, food's what determines how fast your city grows and how fast you get new citizens. I believe that's different in Civ 6. Civ 5 has a nice, neat little option where you can bring up Advisor Council. And here you can get advice from your economic advisor, military advisor, foreign advisor, and science advisor. And you can walk through about 5 tips for each one, or 3 tips. Civ 5 has a diplomacy overview. Gives you an overview of your relationships with city-states and other people. Nice. Economic overview. gold return, treasury, net. Nice summary. So it's got a lot of good summary screens. It's got a notification log where you can go through all the notifications you had and what turn they came in. In Civ 6, food isn't the only thing that affects population growth. Here I've got plenty of food, but I'm short on amenities, and that reduces my citizens growth by 15%. And I've also got a housing shortage, and that decreases my population growth by 50%. So there's three factors that play in the population growth in Civ 6 versus the one in Civ 5. Civ 6 also has a lot of detailed screens that you can pull up, like tech tree, civics tree, government. This shows you the policy cards, which is something that's a little different from Civ 5. Religion plays an important role in this game. You can have a religious victory in this game, whereas you can't in Civ 5. Both games have great people. Something I didn't look at in Civ 5, but both games have that. Something that's new in Civ 6 is the world climate, the climate change. It gives you an overview, CO2 levels, event history. As you get farther along in the game, this will be more important. So that's an addition that Civ 6 has. Governors, that's something new in Civ 6 also. I do not believe Civ 5 has governors. There's a few other things that are new or different in Civ 6. One of those is era scores. So you click on see your era progress. So if you get below the minimum number, you go into a dark age, which gives your civilization penalties till you get into the next era. Normal age is it gives you a score range, and then the golden age is 101 or plus for this particular range, which gives your empire bonuses, obviously. So instead of just going into accumulating points for golden era, you now have to accumulate a certain amount of points to stay on normal age. If you don't, you go into dark age, and if you exceed that, then you go into golden age. So a little bit different. Also, Civ 6 has tourism, and that helps you achieve your culture victories. So the more tourists you get, the better off you are, and that's where tourism comes in. I guess this video wouldn't be complete without taking a look at combat in both Civ 5 and Civ 6. So in Civ 5, if you position a bunch of troops by somebody's border, you can make them nervous, and you can declare war on them if you want to. But there's other ways to do that also. So I'm just going to say, we don't mean anything, just passing through. Of course, he's not going to believe that. There is another way to declare war. When you see an enemy unit or a unit that you want to declare war on, all you have to do is right click on it and declare war that way. It looks like I had a pretty good victory there. So when you select your unit and hover over an enemy unit, you get to see what your strength is and what their strength is, and whether you have a victory or a defeat. So I'm going to have to wait till next turn to finish this up. Looks like he's bringing reinforcements to the fight as the other guys ran off. So I'm going to attack these guys with my knights. And when I win the combat, I take over their square. So that's how combat works in Civ 5. In Civ 6, war and combat are pretty much the same as they are in Civ 5. You can simply enter somebody else's territory to declare war. That's what I'm going to do here. Of course, other people might not like it. So same as Civ 5, I can hover over an enemy unit and see my strength relative to theirs and get an idea how well I'm going to do. Looks like I'll suffer a major defeat if I attack this unit. I'm going to anyway.
When moving close to enemy units. Doing so.
So there's some crossbowmen and I've got some swordsmen. There again, I can have a major victory if I attack them. So I will do that. Then I will follow up with my heavy chariot. It looks like it'll take one more turn to resolve this combat. And of course, the people don't like surprise wars, so this gets me denounced. So I'm going to try to finish this enemy unit off with my swordsman. Looks like I'll have a major victory. And just like in Civ 5, when I win, I occupy that tile. That's combat in Civ 6. Civ 5 has a lot to offer in the way of replayability. It has scenarios, a dozen to be exact: Conquest of the New World, Fall of Rome, Scramble for Africa. Also, when you go to set up a game, you have dozens, it looks like, of civilizations to choose from. That adds a lot of variety. Also, you've got map types to choose from. You've got the map size you can set, difficulty levels anywhere from settler to immortal, and the game pace anywhere from quick to marathon. There's also an advanced setup where you can set up teams. You can set the map type here also. Set the game era, difficulty level, victory types, you can turn them on and off, and various other things you can turn on and off. So all in all, this game has got a lot to offer in the way of replayability. Civ 6 has a lot of replayability to offer also. Like Civ 5, it has scenarios, although it doesn't seem to offer quite as many as what Civ 5 has. You can also change the rules when you create a game. So you've got the DLC. You've got plenty of empires to choose from, dozens, just like you have in Civ 5. Change the game difficulty settings. You can change the game speed. You can change the map type, and you can change the map size as well. You've also got game modes, which is something different from Civ 5. So you can have the apocalypse mode. You can even add zombies, one of my favorites. There's also an advanced setup for Civ 6, where here again you can choose the rule set, assign leaders to the AI players, determine how many city-states you've got, various things like that. Turn these modes off and on. So all in all, a lot of replayability for this game also. So both games have a lot of replayability to offer. So that's my take on Civ 5 and Civ 6. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helped out. I enjoyed making it. So until next time, this is Rich from Loner Strategy Games. See you later. Bye.